Japan is one of the world's most developed economies. But that doesn't mean it's without its own rich-poor divide. Dubbed a Hawaii of Japan. The main island of the same name is just one of more than 160 islands that make up Okinawa Prefecture, an archipelago stretching like a string of pearls towards Taiwan. Some of the inhabited islands are simply a strip of pristine white sand in the middle of azure seas, while others are dotted with luxury resorts on the fringes of pristine diving sites. Okinawa, the southernmost prefecture of Japan. Okinawa is the southernmost prefecture of Japan, comprising hundreds of islands in the Ryukyu archipelago. Okinawa has an important strategic location. It is located at the international crossroads of East Asia, between China, Taiwan, and Japan. The prefecture has an area of 281.12 square kilometers and a population of 1.4 million. Of Japan's 47 prefectures, only Okinawa has a population of 1.4 million. Of the 47 prefectures, Okinawa is the only one where the number of births is greater than the number of deaths each year. Okinawa Prefecture consists of 11 cities and 30 villages and towns. Okinawa is mainly based on tourism and agriculture. Its per capita income is the lowest in Japan. The main island of Okinawa is the fifth largest island of Japan. The island has an area of 206.99 square kilometers, 466.02 square miles. The coastline is 476 kilometers, 296 miles. Because Okinawa has abundant coral reefs, its islands are also rich in marine life. Sea turtles are common on the southernmost islands. Wild jellyfish, sharks, sea snakes, and several types of venomous fish are widespread. Okinawa's climate is considered subtropical, with an average high temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit, 30.5 degrees Celsius, in August. It can also be rainy and humid much of the year. The average low temperature in January, Okinawa's coldest month, is 56 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 degrees Celsius. The poorest prefecture in Japan, known as the Paradise of Japan. Okinawa has the highest poverty rate in the country. This paradox has been going on for decades. Most of the data found is old, but the figures often show that this prefecture has an average income per capita/year of less than $30,000. It is true that it is the poorest in Japan but still double the world average. Among the prefectures of Japan, Okinawa has the youngest and fastest growing population but has the lowest employment rate and average income. Although it is considered to have the poorest economy in Japan, the people of Okinawa have a fairly comfortable life, without having to compete like in other big cities. As a prefecture consisting of islands surrounded by the sea, in Okinawa, the fishing industry is quite developed, becoming an important source of income for the people here. This province was not originally part of Japan. Okinawa was not originally part of Japan but was part of an independent state, the Ryukyu Kingdom. Although the Okinawans and the Japanese were quite close in ethnicity, the kingdom had closer ties with China than with Japan. In 1609, the daimyo of the Satsuma domain, now Kagoshima Prefecture, in southern Kyushu attacked Okinawa, forcing the Ryukyu Kingdom to pay tribute to Satsuma as it did to China. This was how relations between Okinawa and Japan officially began. However, the Ryukyu Kingdom maintained its sovereignty with the support of China. In 1872, Japan made the Ryukyu Kingdom a colony and called it the Okinawa Domain despite China's objections. In 1874, using the pretext of Taiwanese natives killing fishermen of the Okinawa Domain, Japan sent troops to attack Taiwan. The defeat in the war with Japan forced China to recognize Okinawa as part of Japan, and to accept Taiwan as a Japanese colony. In 1879, Okinawa became a prefecture of Japan. The Ryukyu kingdom was completely destroyed. At that time, the Ryukyu king's envoys prostrated themselves for 3 days outside the prime minister's residence in Beijing to plead for help. But the Qing dynasty was weakened by the invasions of the Eight-Nation Western Alliance and the Japanese Empire, therefore, their pleas for military aid were rejected. Ryukyu children were forced to receive a Japanese education with Japanese language, culture, and identity, and people were strictly forbidden to use their native languages. However, many issues arising from history have not been resolved until the present day. After World War II, Okinawa was placed under the administrative control of the United States. Japanese people traveling to Okinawa at this time needed to be granted a visa by the United States government. The United States turned Okinawa into its giant military base in East Asia. To date, 75% of the US military in Japan is stationed in Okinawa. On May 15, 1972, Okinawa returned to Japan. US military bases. The US invaded Okinawa in 1945. Initially as spoils of war. Even after Okinawa was returned to Japan in 1972. Battle of Okinawa. This battle lasted for 82 days. From March to June 1945. With the US Army capturing Okinawa. It was also the battle with the highest casualties of the Pacific War. The Japanese lost all 106,000 troops on the island, of which more than 77,000 died. While the Allies, mainly US soldiers, suffered more than 75,000 casualties. Most of the US military is based in Okinawa Prefecture. In 2013, there were approximately 50,000 US military personnel stationed in Japan, along with 40,000 dependents and 5,500 US civilians working for the US Department of Defense. About 26,000 US military personnel are present on Okinawa. There are 13 US military bases on Okinawa. They cover 25% of Okinawa. Okinawa accounts for only 0.6% of Japan's total land area, but is home to 70.3% of the US bases in Japan. For Okinawans, the US military presence here has been too long and is a nuisance. Karate originated in Okinawa. Karate or karate-do is a traditional martial art of Okinawa, Japan. Karate is famous for its fighting art with typical moves, such as punches, kicks, elbow strikes, knees and open-handed techniques. Previously, it was called Tang Shu, because it originated in China. Tang was the Tang dynasty, and it was only officially introduced to Japan in the early 20th century. Recent studies show that karate was developed on the basis of synthesizing the fighting methods of the Ryukyu people with the martial arts of southern China to fight against the harsh domination that the Japanese rulers imposed on the natives at that time. However, the exact origin of this martial art has not been determined, because no ancient documents of the ancient Ryukyu kingdom have been found that record this martial art. The rank and belt color system of karate was learned from judo and started to be implemented in 1924. Originally, karate practitioners and competitors were bare-chested and wore fundoshi loincloths. Nowadays, karate practitioners wear white shirts, following the shirt of judo, unlike other Japanese martial arts that are passed down through documents. Karate was originally passed down orally, oral transmission, and demonstrated. Later, there were also changes. Okinawa has the shortest river in Japan. The Shiokawa or Salt River of Okinawa's Motobu Peninsula is the shortest river in Japan at 300 meters long and is one of the few saltwater rivers in the world. Fed by the ocean itself. The river is short but wide in places and is home to a variety of marine plants, creating a unique inland ecosystem. The salt here is listed in the Guinness Book of Records. Many believe that the key to Okinawans' longevity is the clean, mineral-rich waters surrounding the islands. In fact, in 2000, the salt was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for containing the most minerals. with around 14 different types found within. At Nuchimasu, the salt is harvested by evaporating water through fans, a technique patented by the factory that results in a purer, more mineral-rich salt.